When I am straight like Facebook. I want now
All right, you are warmly welcome to Ghana, my country, on Lumia TV. Today is the 8th day of February 2020. I am delighted to have you guys watching us today and this evening, and I am so honored to have my very own teacher. In fact, if I say teacher, maybe he can't remember, but I was a student of Navrongo. He's in Abia. I know him close well, but he's the communications director for the New Patriotic Party (MPP) Navrongo constituency, Navrongo Central. In fact, he's a great man. He has joined us in the house. I would like that he introduce himself more formally for you.
I think the introduction is okay. My name is Shaib Salih Dumaslamwia, the communication officer in Navrongo Central constituency.
All right. So tonight we don't have a fixed topic because the topics we want to discuss with him. You see, this is a very great opportunity, and we would like to discuss extensively on matters affecting the students' community and Navrongo at large. Because once there is something confronting the students or the students, it would affect the community at large. And once there is something affecting the community, it also affects the student community too. So tonight we would, the first thing I want us to deal with is about the electrification. When I say like the streets, others call it street light. I don't know the exact term. When you were coming, I'm sure it was a little dark. What was your observations on the electrification of the town?
You mean town or the university community?
In fact, town and the university community.
Well, when you talk of town, I think it's not completely dark. I think about 70% of the municipality has electricity in as much as street lights are concerned.
Okay.
But coming to the UDS community, after the St. John Bosco's Training College, I think I started experiencing darkness until I finally got to the campus. But I think as intellectuals, you see the difference between the street lights that you people have and those that we have in town. Those that we have in town are actually those naked wires that are up there. But those that we have at the university community are those that are underground. And so most often than not, when we have problems or challenges, it is difficult to address them. Naturally, it is under the ambit of the municipal assembly to make sure that the entire municipality, in as much as lightening is concerned, they take care of it. And UDS is one of the communities you can actually be proud of, because when it comes to population, when it comes to business activities, when it comes to security and so on and so forth, it's an area that we cannot overlook. And so naturally, it is a worrying issue, but we know by the grace of God, we'll get the right people who actually come and then work underground, because these lights or these wires are underground. And I believe you know the difference.
Yes. In fact, some time ago I was working with one man who is also an electrician, and I learned few things about it. But during the whole connection period, I mean to say when the whole electrification the process was ongoing, didn't you people consider some of these things? Because it is, since I came to this particular campus, the bulbs that are working, those you've seen on the campus, on the university community, I mean the campus and the streets on the around campus.
Internal
and external. They are the very ones that has been working since I came here.
The internal are different from the external. I don't even know that.
Yes, the external isn't working and the internal too isn't working.
The internal, some of them are working.
Just a few.
Yes,
Yes.
I like that.
Just
I
a
think
few.
just a few of them. And when you look at those that are working, there are those that have the ticket ways on the space.
Okay.
But those that are underground, I told you, when there is a challenge, then you have to get the experts who can actually work on those.
Okay.
And so, as I speak earlier on, you see, naturally about electricity, in the past, when population was still not large, people security was not all that much. In terms of security, it was the second class animal versus first class animals. But when population increased, and then those of you who have a little background about economics, you understand the Malthusian theory, who says that when the population grows, then food production will be growing at what? Arithmetic rate. Whilst what we call population will be growing at geometric figures. It tells you that when population is more than the food you produce, then crime would be on the ascendancy. And so as a result of crime, then we began thinking of making night day, so that you cannot hide under the cover of darkness to cause mayhem to other well-meaning citizens who want to contribute their quota to the development of our country. And so naturally, when these things come, most of the things are foreign in nature, and so we copy them, bring them. When you copy and bring, there will be challenges. This whole concept of what street light, as I said, is as a result of what? Trying to enhance lightening.
Okay.
And so this idea of what naked lightning came. But there are so many technical losses as compared to when you talk of what those that are buried and those that are naked. The technical losses assigned to those that are naked is high.
Okay.
Apart from that, they cover more space. Apart from that, the security of people is high.
Okay.
Anytime there's any natural disaster and then a naked line falls, then many people around that particular zone are in danger. And so people are gradually moving away from the naked kind of what system to the underground system. And so if you take the Navrongo's own, I think about 90% of the street lights we have is still the naked one. Apart from your zone, have you seen any underground wire?
No.
So it tells you that that particular place we still have a challenge regarding the technical men who actually address issues as they come. But what I know is that the municipal chief executive has actually started working on those particular, what do we call it, underground wiring. And then also I've been told that the regional minister has also made a technical person to come around and then try to identify the problem and possibly come and then address it. And I want all meaning Navrongo people to put their hands on them. They are assemblymen, they are unit committee members, the university itself has what? Student leaders, the school management has what? The management and then leaders and so on and so forth. Let's all do what we call the follow-up kind of thing.
Okay.
You have a challenge, there are competing demands.
Okay.
People are demanding for a particular resource that is in limited supply. And so when you constantly remind duty bearers, then they will make sure that the right thing is done. Okay. So I am calling on the student community. I'm calling on all those who, I am one of them. I am a student of UDS. Okay. I'm a product of UDS. Okay. And so naturally I'll be very happy if everything is going on well. And my younger brother is one of the lecturers at UDS here. So anything bad about UDS, I wouldn't be happy. Okay. And so it is a call in the right direction that duty bearers should actually turn their attention to it and make sure that the students actually have a regular and uninterrupted academic work. And I think, I can't remember the month, you were disconnected. You were disconnected.
It became a very big problem.
So you marched the municipal chief executive. I think he intervened,
yeah.
And then
that very moment.
Yes, you were restored. I don't know whether as student leaders you are making sure that that thing will not reoccur. Should it reoccur, it means that there is management problem.
Okay.
I don't know whether the school is supposed to be paying their bills and they are not paying, and what is making it so, I don't know. And so as student leaders, you are a student leader at the moment.
Yeah.
It's not just about being voted in.
Okay.
Where you have the platform to actually assemble the right brains to discuss issues that will militate against your academic work, then you become a student leader. And so use this opportunity, reawaken the conscience of those who are managing the school community or the university community to make sure that the right thing is done. What I'm saying is, of late, I've seen that many institutions are owing, and many, what do we call it, households have been disconnected because of what? Huge amounts of electricity bills on their bill. And so naturally, if we allow it to occur, it means that the intervention of the municipal chief executive only made us to go and relax as the normal Ghanaian will always do. Yeah. And so for me, as somebody who is a product of UDS, I wouldn't be happy if we are back to darkness again as a result of what? Non-payment of bills.
Actually, from the facts I've gathered, government is supposed to be paying some of these things. Okay, so it means that
a fact, and you can prove
it means that. Yes. Why I'm saying this is, prior to our demonstration on the disconnection, we also sat. I am part of the ranking members of student parliament. Wonderful. We sat down to look at who is supposed to pay and who is not supposed to pay. Who exactly is keeping our monies? Because some people are giving money to pay since 2012. It means that either the money was given to some people to pay and they weren't paying, or. But I don't want us to dwell so much on that, because I've seen that last week, Saturday, Friday, and Thursday, I saw some technicians climbing the poles up and down. But I don't want us to run from there, because some time ago, last academic year, the regional minister, the municipal chief executive, my very own Mr. Williams, and some party executives and leaders of the assembly came to our campus. In fact, they were in NH1. They spoke to us very nice. The regional minister promised that they were going to give us bulbs to beautify the whole place. You see, it will surprise you to notice that they snatch students' phones, their laptops, and other things as a result of the insecurity, the lightning problem we are facing.
I wouldn't be surprised at
what at all? Is it that the regional minister came to do politics on those grounds, or what was she deceiving us?
Well, I am not a spokesperson of the regional minister. I speak for my party, that is the New Patriotic Party.
But the party choose.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm only building a point.
Okay.
I am not a spokesperson of the regional minister. That is a fact.
Okay.
I think you believe.
Yeah, I get that very well.
Number two, I am the spokesperson for my party. However, the regional minister is a member of my party.
Okay.
And is discharging her duties as a government appointee, not a party appointee.
Okay.
But her success story is my success story. And so I should have vested interest in whatever she does, and whatever she promises, and make sure that it's not a political promise, but a real promise. Before I came here, I think I received a call regarding this particular program. Before I came here, I tried to assemble my facts. Okay. And it was through those facts that I got to realize that the regional minister had even come, he had had a visit. I think I can't remember the date or the month. Okay. Had a working visit, and then those promises were made. Apart from the promise that somebody was detailed to come and then make sure that they ascertain whatever challenge it was and to arrest it. Okay. Are you getting it? As I speak, it's not about carrying the street lights, the bulbs to the school that is the problem. Just like I told you, if you have those wires that are exposed in the space, those ones you can come and fix them today.
I'm sure the students will love it.
Yes.
At least it will help us.
Yes, exactly. And so those that are underground, they are those that until the problem is solved, you can't even tell whether it is the bulb that has a problem or not. Okay. You understand? Okay. So that is why I told you, your campus if you look at it, especially those areas where you have the exposed lines, you see that some of the bulbs are functioning.
Yeah.
And so those problems, those areas, if there's any bulb that is malfunctioning, then you can quickly replace it as what? A malfunctioning bulb. But when you don't even know the problem, the wires are underground. Is it coming from what? The wires? Is it coming from the bulb? Where is the problem? Are you getting it? So that is where the problem is. The problem is all about the underground wiring. Do you understand it?
Yeah.
So that is what I'm saying. And so naturally, I personally believe that the regional minister will not come to more or less like give a political promise. How much will the bulb be? Compare that to a student being maltreated, a student's phone being sniped, or possibly the female. They may even rape a female student. You don't know what may be the outcome as a result of that. And so naturally, we are not resting on our own. Okay. We are going to make sure that the right thing is done. And that is why I'm calling on all well-meaning UDS guys to be people who will remind you to better to do the right thing. I like one thing about Tupac. I believe you all know him. His real name is Omar Shakur.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he is an artist. Those of you
I
who are fan of music,
his
yes, I like him because of one quotation. That I don't have the brains that can change the world, but I have the brains that will spark the brains that will change the world.
Okay.
It tells you that you as an individual cannot be the only person to change the world. But when you spark the brain that will change the world, that brain will also spark another brain, and the good brains will come together. An amalgamation of those brains will now bring what we call development. And development is a process, it's not an event. Today, lightning is your priority on campus. Tomorrow, if that particular challenge is addressed, there will be another thing that will come.
Sure.
And so for development, it's not just one thing. One thing I also know about the university community is your road. Your road. It's a very terrible, and I know by the grace of God, very soon you'll be smiling. Very soon. It's not a political process.
The regional minister also touched on that.
Yes, and I'm telling you, it's not that, you see, when you say the regional minister is representing the president in the region.
Okay.
And so she speaks for the president. She cannot come and then make statements knowing very well that her market cannot take care of it.
Okay.
If they say the regional minister should construct a 1 kilometer road from her pocket, possibly it may not be
possible.
You understand? So before she speaks, it is coming from what? The one that hired her to work for him. Do you understand? So I am telling you and I'm assuring you that you will soon be smiling in as much as your road is concerned, in as much as your lightning system is concerned. MPP, one thing about MPP is that yes, we are all politicians, but there's a vast dichotomy between MPP and NDC.
Can you touch the difference?
The difference is too wide. It's like light and darkness. You can't compare the two. Yes, you cannot. The difference is just too wide.
When MPP, is it the fight and lose battles you are doing that you think there are differences? Because
you have to explain what you mean by fight and lose.
Fight and lose. Why I say that's something I have for the last 3 days I've been saying fight and lose battle. Like the war against Boko illegal mining.
Yes.
It's like a fight and lose battle.
That is a very simplistic analogy, but I don't share with that. In the history of Ghana, the first president of Ghana, Nkrumah, we are talking of a civilian. From Nkrumah, we came to Bujia. From Bujia, we came to Dr. Hilia Liman. From Hilia Liman, we came to Rawlings. From Rawlings, we came to John Ajakum Kufuor. From Kufuor to Mills. From Mills to John Mama. All these people, tell me what you can remember about the fight against Galamsey.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. And the worst form of being a living person is to do nothing. The worst form of any system is to do nothing. But we did something. The results are there to show. At least you are an intellectual who will not be sitting down for somebody to cook a propaganda and then throw it out there and you grab and begin jumping to the sky. Okay. At least some of the things you know. It's not what I tell you now, it's what you know. Anybody who tells you that Nanado's government has done nothing about LMC, unless of course that fellow is doing pure propaganda. We did a lot, you understand? But in political science, we have what we call the game.
Okay.
The game is every human being. If checks are not put on you, you are tempted to cheat. Do you understand? Apart from the angels of God and the prophets of God that you can say it is difficult. And even with them, those of you who are well versed in theology will understand that if not for God's forgiveness, nobody will go to the kingdom of God.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
And so in political science, we have what we call the game. And the game is telling you that for human being, if there are not checks to check your conduct and behavior, there's no way you have a complete 100% what do we call it, saints assembled to administer a state. That is why when you read, those of you who are lovers of what political science and philosophy and what have you, one political science will tell you that, I think it's Socrates. Yes, that he who first founded the state is the greatest benefactor of all. For man, when perfected, is the greatest animal of all. But when separated from law and justice, you are the worst of all animals. It tells you that when laws are there to check you and you obey the laws, you are the best. But when you are a deviant, you don't follow laws, the animals that are second-class animals are better than you. You understand? At least MPP can boast that we did something about Galamsey. The evidence are there to show. We seized excavators. I think that is where you will describe as what.
And gave it to your people.
When you say give, that is why I earlier on said it's too simplistic to go that way.
Okay.
It's not about giving out. I just gave you a scenario to tell you that yes, you may be fighting the system, and another group of people or somebody may also be there thinking of how to benefit from the system.
Did you consider those people doing that before giving them the nod to fight corruption?
Definitely, everybody, until you are caught, you are not a thief. Am I right?
Yes.
Until you are caught, you are not a thief.
Not at all.
So as at the time we were hiring those people to work, there was no any evidence to show that they were thieves.
Okay.
There was no any single proof that these people were dishonest. Until you hire them and you get to know that they misconducted themselves and you let the law take its forward course. That is the difference between what MPP and NDC. With MPP, they will call you and reward you more. I give you a classical example. You know of Brazil, a free Ankara.
Yeah.
What happened? When you went and spent taxpayers' money, come and stand here and direct people to go and then buy ingredients, and you'll be taking billions of cedis. When you convert it into Ghanaian currency, just standing and giving direction. Can you imagine a Ghanaian who went to Brazil, and you know Brazil more than other people to now go and be giving directions? And that is what you come and take. They come and ask you, we are not saying you stole. Account to Ghanaians how you spend the money. What was his account? He wept. Was that the account? Tell us how you spend our money. You go and cry. And you tell us that was how to account to the people of Ghana. What did your mama do? He called him from that particular position to the presidency. Come and sit with me. You see the difference? Let's take this Airbus recently. It is the highest corruption scandal in the world. Not in Ghana, not in West Africa, not in Africa, the whole world. And who is involved?
They've not mentioned anyone.
They didn't mention any name, but I am telling you, NDC and MPP, we are comparing regimes. That regime, they tell you, is 2009 to 2015. Who was there? Who was in charge of our resources? Unless, of course, you are telling me that they assembled only goods to be addressing the issues of Ghana there. So you can say maybe some dead goods were there.
But he calls himself a dead goat.
No, I am not. We are not like them to always insult statement like that. He himself described himself as a dead goat. But I'm not calling him a dead goat. I'm only telling you that the system that not any person, not the president appointee, the president himself is fingered.
Sir, you were making a point that His Excellency Akufo-Addo appointed some people.
Yeah, I'm only telling you that there's a vast difference between NDC and MPP.
Until you appoint someone, you wouldn't be able to make sure or know whether this person is good or he is that.
And when the bad thing comes, let the law take its course. You don't promote the fellow.
It is actually,
when I come to slap you, may God forbid, when I come to slap you, and then they give me fouls, yeah, you are champion. What are you asking me to do? Tomorrow I should not only slap you, but break your neck.
That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is this. If for any reason those he has appointed has pulled him down in the fight,
they have not. That's why we are fighting.
They are pulling him down.
They are struggling.
Good. They are pulling him down.
Yes. But I believe you know that
it is still in that vein that some people could have pulled His Excellency John Muhammad down in that regard. So I don't.
Every leader has challenges.
Yes.
Every leader has challenges.
But you were.
Do you know of Niccolo Banandi Machiavelli?
No.
He's a political strategist in the ancient times. You understand? He was the advisor of what? The political head. You see, when I advise you and you take it and implement, they don't look at the advisor. They look at the one that's implementing it.
Okay.
When you implement and there are lapses, you're responsible for them. If there are success stories, you take the credit. Is that not so?
Yeah.
If there's anything good about your mama's regime, he will say it was his time. Why would any bad thing come and you say, for that one, give it to MPP? Now, the difference I'm trying to put across and you don't get is this. For him, he will call the one that did it and promote him further. For Nanadu, the law will take its course. Do you know that 6 people have been arrested in connection of the missing excavators?
Yeah.
You are aware.
But
you are aware.
I'm also.
No. I just want the assurance so that
yes,
the viewers will know.
I'm aware. I'm aware of that.
Good. So,
but
assuming there's a weed smoker, which is an offense.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's offense or crime. The legal people will know which term to use. But forgive me if I'm using the wrong term.
Okay.
It's an offense. If there's a weed smoker and the weed smoker is caught, and you call the weed smoker and say, "Hey, you are getting closer to Bob Marley, so continue." The fellow knows very well that yes, he will get more places when he does it.
Yeah.
But when you get the weed smoker and say, "No, it will actually affect your brain. Let's send you to us maybe a rehabilitation center, and then see how best we can clean you up before you come back to society." And the time that you are taken off from the consumption of that particular harmful substance, it will help you.
But don't you remember that His Excellency, the former president, called for the arrest of my own Philip Aquena? Philip Aquena. He called for the arrest of the former Paga MP. All those that caused scandals during his time, they called them to book. Is that not the same?
So wonderful. I am very happy that you brought this thing on board. You see, what I mentioned about the Abu Gapele issue, I am not comfortable because he's a northern brother. You understand?
Aquena is one?
Yeah, I'm only giving you one example. And so Abu Gapele was used, fine. Let's even assume with admitting that was what? Fighting justice. What happened to Abu Gapele?
He has been arrested.
And
he's currently
he was arrested. He was arrested in your mama's era.
Yes, he was under court investigations and he was dealt with. Currently serving his term.
Go back to your archives and then check. Abu Gapele was prosecuted under our tenure.
You see?
Now let me tell you about what? Wyoming. What happened? The Attorney General then, who was fighting the ill-gotten money, was booted out of what office? For fighting corruption. That man had to leave his office and then fight that cause as an independent or as a citizen vigilante.
So
And finally, what happened? He won the case. Is that not so?
yes.
It tells you that. And when Wayomi's case came on board, you had all the government upper cheeks, those Rollins described as well babies with sharp teeth. You heard how they came on Martinamidu, insulted him left, right, center, inside out, washed him very well, and then packaged him for people to actually throw away. But later on, things turn the other way around. It tells you that even Martin Luther King said something. That's the worst form of betrayal is silence. It's not just even about saying I don't support you. It's about what? Where I expect you to talk and you remain silent is the worst form of betrayal. You see, Abu Gapele was only being put there, but he was still a member of parliament. Are you aware of that? Mm-hmm. He was still a member of parliament, and he was just there. If we had lost these elections, MPP, if MPP had lost these elections, Abu Gapele would have been there.
I don't get the whole thing.
You wouldn't get
because,
it because
I know that
the intent was not to fight corruption. The intent was to be seen as fighting corruption.
For court to pronounce judgment on someone, it has to take time for them to gather facts.
Exactly.
And I'm sure they took this time to gather facts. And it was not too long after you people took office that he was prosecuted. It meant that they had started the process.
When we came, we didn't come with any new facts. The old set of facts were the facts used to prosecute them.
And those who were sitting on it were the very who were sitting on it. Or you changed another people.
No, we don't change.
It meant that
we don't change.
No,
it tells you that there's a regime change. No. And the regime change, they know very well that the man is incorruptible.
It means that
and he is coming to fight corruption. Yes.
It means that
now
the previous administration.
You see, there are so many ways of fighting corruption. Some people even say name and shame. I'm telling you, you have never had any government appointment, right? If today, tomorrow,
I'm waiting for one from His Excellency.
may God let it happen. If they should give you any small appointment today, let's say they make you the municipal chief executive of Navrongo.
Of Garu.
No, let's say Navrongo.
No, I'm from Garu.
No, it's not a tribal kind of thing. Yes, you should understand this.
I didn't know.
No. You don't need to be. It's not a tribal position. It's government position. If government sees that you can handle the position and you have been there, you have contributed to your quota, government can appoint you. The former Upper East Regional Minister, Lemuna, you know him?
No.
Lemuna from Gojaland.
I've never heard that name.
So I'm only giving you a scenario. It is not a political appointment based on tribal lines. No. So let's assume that you have made the municipal chief executive of Navrongo for just 1 month. And out of your own misconduct, they say go and sit at home. You are no more the municipal chief executive. You know the kind of punishment.
God forbid.
Yes. Yeah. So when things come, the name and shame is one. Taking you off your schedule and letting you rest is another. Roxanne Bukari state, you know about it. Roxanne Bukari didn't steal money, did he?
No.
He only said something. What he said was more or less like a moral corruption.
Full corruption, not just moral corruption.
How much?
Corruption is corruption.
How much?
He was going to pay, give a motorbike.
He was going to do it.
He was going to give money, cash.
Did he?
He said
he
was even ready. He was even ready to give a motorbike.
I want us to speak on facts. If they ask you how much did he give, you can't tell. So it was moral corruption. He was asking a journalist to kill a story. You understand? And when you kill a story, as my small boy, when I come, I will say thank you.
Your small boy?
Yes.
That means the boy was licking his boots.
Certainly.
But
I'm telling you,
official.
I didn't come here to talk about what Roxanne Bukari. Okay. But what's his name? I've forgotten the journalist's name.
Manasseh.
No, not Manasseh. It's a Bulgar here.
The A1 guy.
Yes.
No, but it was Manasseh that reported.
No.
Azure.
No, not Manasseh Azure. I'm trying to recollect the name, but as we continue, if the name comes, I'll let you know. That guy if you ask him today whether he benefited from Roxanne Bukari's benevolence or not, he will tell you he benefited. But he said he wants to fight what? Corruption. And so there was a corruption issue, mental corruption. You understand? And the president said, go and rest. If you ask Roxanne Bukari today...
Mr. Roxanne resigned.
Eh?
He resigned.
I see. You are telling me based on the paperwork you know,
yes,
he resigned.
He resigned.
You think he just wanted to resign? You think he just wanted to resign?
All right, because I heard later on he said he was forced to resign.
So you don't believe that one?
I don't believe it because I didn't see the reason. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's even assume that he resigned voluntarily or honorably. It tells you that we have honorable men in MPP.
That is not entirely true.
Tell me the opposite.
Currently, your wound to me and what of you are...
Tell me what one to make it wrong so that I'll prove you wrong.
I'm sure you have heard the news around the world.
No, you are telling me. I know that Wood to me is one of the finest and gentle businessmen we have in Ghana. It only happens that he is a party chairman in a particular region. Now, they want to miss. It's not a scandal.
Stealing.
Why you say no? What did he steal?
They are taking things.
Don't let people take.
Properties.
Don't let people take you on. Taking people's property. Whose property is it?
The excavators.
That is it. What?
The people, the leaders of the big political parties.
So if I ask you to prove that I want to be took a quarter excavator, can you prove it?
No.
Thank you. So I don't want us to go on this conjecture, wild kind of what, propaganda. No. Wood to me has a timber concession where he has what? License to operate. You understand? You are a Ghanaian. If you go and register and have the license to operate, to go into the forest and then cut timber as rosewood and then sell, it's there. You understand? So the conversation, and you see, I've told you earlier on, NPP and NDC are far apart. Darkness and lightness cannot meet. You see, the guy, Ewusi wanted something of evidential value to prove himself that yes, he was not guilty or he was not the only one in whatever problem he found himself. And he went to somebody, I don't know, but let's still assume without admitting that that was from Pomboati. I believe you listened to the tape. Yes, thank you very much. And if you can play it, what was the response from Frimpong Boateng? Frimpong Boateng asked him to leave his office.
Get up and go.
Yes! It tells you that we still have what? Honest and decent people. And you see, the guy was asking leading questions. It tells you that he didn't even come to do anything. He was only coming to get information. And when he finally said he came here with John Boydu and who to get a permission to go into the forest.
Concession.
The voice that is purported to be Frimpong Boateng's voice, so ask him, didn't I ask you to go to Wuntumi's distance and get his concession so that you will come and will work on the document? It tells you that we still have to go through documentation even if you are a party member and I'm a party member. That's the difference. Unlike Ibrahim Mama, where you import a heavy-duty machines into the country in the name of the government of Ghana, and he will put them into his wife, his private, company and working. Unlike Ibrahim Mama, where his elder brother, who is the president of Ghana, will give the bauxite distance to him, take, mine and bring the money home.
So you mean he didn't have documentation?
What if he had documents? Why would they say you shouldn't work? Because
probably his brother is no more.
That is conjecture. Probably conjecture. You are not speaking of facts. Let's speak on facts.
That can be
so because your brother is the president of Ghana, you don't follow laws? To the extent that you don't even pay taxes. Do you know the amount of taxes he evaded and then they had to let him pay? He wasn't paying taxes and he will still take the government of Ghana property to go and work for his bona fide, for his personal gain. He will go and then take the whole bauxite mining this industry and then mine for whatever. And you know, shortly after the Airbus scandal, they bought their own private jet. You know about that?
Yes, I'm aware of.
Thank you very much.
I've heard of it, but
if you are buying, if you are buying an Airbus about, is it $55 million or whatever? And then
I don't know.
Yes, you should know. And then finally, you alone, you are bagging about 33, more than the price of the jet is coming into your pocket. Not even the appointee, the president himself. That's the difference.
I wish the NDC was here to defend themselves.
That is their business.
I pray that next week.
Their business is to make sure they are there to defend the party.
Okay.
And so, party politics is not about Facebook. We have the real work on the ground. NDC thinks that we are going to use propaganda on Facebook to win elections. That doesn't happen. People are watching and seeing that planting for food and job is bringing results. People are watching and seeing that free senior high is good for them. People are watching and seeing that under your mama, nursing training allowances were cancelled. It has been restored. People are watching.
And you are not paying all the time.
What do you mean by all the time?
It doesn't come like
In
that.
the history of Ghana, there's only one president that is noted for cancellation of things that are good for Ghana. And that's John Mahama. In Nkrumah's time, he didn't cancel anything. He brought it. After Nkrumah, even military regimes, they didn't cancel. Military, where they would take the gun and say, hey, obey before you visit your ancestors. They didn't cancel. A civilian man who campaigned seriously that they should vote for him, they finally voted for him. He's the only president who is noted for canceling things. Nursing training allowance, they've cancelled. At least we have brought it. It's not regular, but we have been paying. Before you leave your tenure of study, we'll clear everything. There's no single student that completed, and we are owing this.
My friend is doing his service.
Yes.
He said you are still owing him.
And for that one, it is normal. It is normal that we are owing somebody. At least he's expecting. Okay. And the very day he will collect, I am only hoping and praying that he will call again to tell you that he has received.
Okay.
Will he do that? Thank you. Ever since he has started collecting, has he ever called you?
Sometimes.
Thank you very much. So let's pray and hope that one day when he takes, he will tell. And I'm telling you that we don't owe anybody. When we owe, we agree that we are owing you, and there will be time for you to pay it. And that accumulation even sometimes was beneficial. Some students will just take it, they don't have means of transport, they go to buy these Sankasi motorbikes, and it's fine. Some people take it, those who are from rural communities, they go to buy maybe one cow or two, and then they start keeping a crowd.
Good. So I'm happy we have moved swiftly to back to students. You just spoke about the student allowance. You see, you have always left the community, the university students behind. No. I don't know what exactly it is, but the point I'm trying to make is this: you have restored during the MDC's time. People in the colleges had the right to access student loan fund, student loan trusts. They had the opportunity to access this offer. People in the university also had that opportunity. Now you have restored teacher trainee allowances. The loans we in the university community was entitled to, the one we used to get. In fact, it's not coming again.
No.
I can tell you. No. I can tell you on facts.
Loan.
I can tell you today that students that have applied for student loan for this academic year have not received a dime yet.
No.
Currently, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, if you were following, you would have seen that NUCS, National University Students of Ghana Association, demonstrated on this matter because students are unable to register. In fact, I have a close friend who is waiting on this. He's a final year student who is waiting on this student loan to pay up his school fees in order to get registered on. Their deadlines are catching up. Nothing is coming up. Is it that the money that was used to give us, cushion us as loans, you have pulled that to finance or give to the teachers so that they will be enjoying, they will be able to pay after they are fed in school, after their lights are paid for and they are enjoying in school, they have every single thing run and they have water, they don't pay for lights, they don't pay for anything. After they are enjoying all these things, you have taken the student loan to give them to enjoy, to buy meat and chop and drink beer, so that we will be suffering.
That's wonderful. I like the way you normally simplify things, but as an intellectual, don't. Okay. In fact, what you are doing, you are courting enmity from your sister, your colleagues from the training college.
I'm sorry if I see you guys, if yes, you are wrong.
Yes, but naturally that is how it is. From the way your narration, from your rendition, it is clear that the students in the training colleges are enjoying. They don't have anything to suffer. Now it is about, you see, I know you are not a woman, so you wouldn't know what rival is all about. Okay. But it's like a rival looking at the bull of the other rival. You are not looking at what is in your bull. What you are looking at is what? In this bull, you are seeing meat. You are seeing this. Look at yours too. You understand? At least what we are doing for the training colleges is not bad.
It's very good.
It's good.
But what of us?
So call for what is yours. That is what I want you to direct your energies to. You understand? Okay. I personally know that when you talk of what student loan, it's the SNIT loan you are talking of. Am I right?
I don't know if they are associated.
Yes. When I was a student, I think it's SNIT. What you do is what you fill the forms, and it is not a guarantee that when you fill the form, you just walk to go and pick the money. There are people who will fill the form. They are looking for guarantees. When I was there, you have to get 3 guarantees. When you don't get the 3 guarantees, there are some people looking for guarantees and they will even complete their course of study without getting the guarantees.
No, but what I'm saying is that they have done all the necessary things since last time.
Relax.
Okay.
So what is happening now? I want to know whether you still look for guarantees. That is another.
We do.
Good. How many?
It's 3 or so.
And then it means it hasn't changed. But I am not sure. I need to cross-check and be speaking on facts. I don't want to speak on what hypothetical issues. What I know is that with the student loan, as soon as your documentations are all cleared, SNIT will now work based on the number of years that your guarantors still have in active service. If they know that when they grant the loan, when they give you the loan and they calculate for 4 years, let's say you are in level 100, for 4 years you will be in school. After the 4 years, maybe you are still likely to spend 2 or more years looking for a job.
They say 2 years after it.
Exactly, 2 years after the job. And so these days too, there's no ready job waiting for you. So if your guarantor has limited number of years to exit, and you have it, you have completed your documentation, but your money will not come because they know that when they give, they will later on be facing challenges. Do you understand? But what I know is that if it is still the SNIT loan, you have everything, and SNIT is the richest institution in Ghana. I believe you are aware of that.
I'm not too sure.
I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, SNIT is the richest institution in Ghana. Sometimes government of Ghana even borrow money from SNIT. Wow. Yes, I'm telling you that. The second richest institution in Ghana is NAT, where I am a member, but poor. You understand? Yeah. So what I want you to understand is this. With your loans not forthcoming, it's not a government policy to truncate it or to cut it off. Maybe there may be challenges regarding documentation or whatever. But since you are speaking with some kind of authority and then vociferousness, there is the need for us to make a follow-up.
It's very necessary.
To be sure whether it is Senate, it is students, or it is government that is making the students not to access their notes. This is what I know.
In fact, the last SRC Nooks Open Forum, that was a very serious topic that was discussed to its bone. Just yesterday, yesterday was Friday. Just yesterday, during GA, those issues came up again.
Yes.
And it is very difficult, it's unbearable
It has always been like this.
For students.
I'm telling you, it has always been like that. When I was a student at WA campus, each time a student loan drop, the students, you can't even identify who is a student and who is a lecturer. The way you even walk itself changes. It is not something that comes anytime you want it.
Yeah.
That's one thing you must know. You understand? There may be a time that it will drop, and when it drops, some students will go to buy maybe laptop, nice phone, a TV set, mattress, their girlfriends, making them fine. So boys, you understand?
Yeah.
So some of the things when we were there, the whole of my level 100, I was struggling to get, I didn't get. But you don't put the blame on government. There are people who even went throughout the system, they couldn't get. Some were NATOC members. When they say NATOC, you have been in the teaching industry, left to upgrade yourself to come. When you go, they have an association called NATOC. And so the NATOC members, some of them were on steady leave. And still they want to get what? The student loan. You understand? But let me ask this question. Assuming you are given allowance and then loan, which one will you prefer?
Allowance.
So I will be calling on student leaders in the various tertiary institutions to begin thinking of how they will court a very benevolent and generous government to look for what? Allowances for them, and not loans that you so complete and it will be there building interest on you, and finally you see it as a headache.
I'm sure this will be part of His Excellency Akufuado's campaign.
But you see, as I gave you the quotation from what to pack earlier on, spark the brains, that will spark the brains to work.
Yeah.
Don't sit and say, oh, Nanado is the president, so he will do everything. He can't. You understand? There are some things that are even good, but because you did not bring them to his attention, they will not even come. You understand? And Nanado is a very good friend of what? The educational sector. Look, when you take the bill on education under Nanado and compare it to any other government before, you get to understand that Nanado is a friend to education. He has more than quadrupled the expenditure on education. You cannot afford to have an illiterate society. The danger there is far, far greater than what? The cost you are looking at. Look, it's not everybody going to school, you must come and sit in the office and be an officer. No. At least to be a law-abiding citizen, some level of education should be there. When Gagisberg was the governor of the Gold Coast, I think between the 1919 to 1927 or so, their main aim for giving education, especially to the northern part of Ghana, was for you to keep a housemanship, to clean your house neatly, so that when you are taken as, what do you call it, a houseboy, you can communicate well with them. They tell you keep hygiene and what have you. But we have come and we want the kind of education that will transform Ghana. We don't want the Gagisberg economy to continue. And when we don't want the Gagisberg economy to continue, we must look at what? 3 major pillars. Your education, your industrialization drive, and then your power. Today, tell me, all these 3 things are being tackled simultaneously, not one. When it comes to education, the number of students in secondary school before Nanado's coming has doubled. Yes. You know it as a fact.
And you don't think it's because you take like a grade 15, 16.
So he should have been at home.
Well, I'm making that as a scenario because previously there were
you see
cut-off points.
So when you were from
25.
when you were migrating from primary school to GHS, there was no cut-off point. There was no cut-off point. There was. Was there?
Yeah.
No. You move.
Until
when you were moving from primary 6 to GHS 1, they didn't ask you to write exam to see whether you passed GHS or not.
At least basic education, welcome test you write.
Welcome test where? That was
test.
local, depending on the school you want to go. That is not a policy by government by GS. When you get to P6, in the next class you go to is what? Form 1. You understand?
Yeah.
Now you want to go to secondary school. Then you say, okay, you have grade this, you be at home. Then the fellow knows very well that the society itself has already written him off. So for me, it's either I make life uncomfortable for those who think they know, or
okay,
you understand?
That is very clear.
Exactly. So when you make such a person continue, don't put the fellow on the streets. Still keep the fellow under rules and regulations. When you are in school, you know they are seniors, you must respect them. You know they are masters, you must respect them. You know headmaster, you must respect them. You know there's a time to get up and bath. You know there's time to go to class. You know there's time not to be loitering around. That discipline alone. By the time that, let's say you complete a secondary school and you are now 18, at least maturity level is there. But somebody at the age of what? Let's say 12, 13, sometimes 14, 15, go on.
So why don't you also allow them also go like that through the tertiary?
No, the tertiary.
Because you are looking for quality,
yes,
isn't it?
we are looking for quality. And we are not leaving anybody out. What was the essence of FQ? I believe you know. Free, universal, compulsory basic education.
Yeah.
You know about it. What was the purpose?
To get
the purpose, you see, as a child, when you kick the child off the on the street, what do you expect him to do? Children quickly adopt to things more than adults do. So let the child get to that adulthood. Now the fellow can decipher what is right and what is wrong. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that is the kind of society in which we are. Look, when you go to, I pray that one day I should become the president of Ghana.
Inshallah.
I pray. When I become the president of Ghana, I'm looking at a system where you don't burden the student with many subjects that are not even relevant to his what? Area of study. There are some students, they are good in mathematics. They are not good in English. Because I am not good in English, I pass all the subjects, then you let me go and then be at home. It doesn't make sense. There are others, they say psychomotor. Those of you who did educational psychology, you can use your hands more than your brain. You understand? And so let those people also go. In fact, when you go to China, somebody at a primary 6 in Ghana, when you are in China, maybe primary 6 child, what they can manufacture, you will see it as somebody who is a professor. You understand? So I don't believe in this idea of what? Master of all,
Jack of all.
Jack of all, master of none. You want to be a Frenchman, you don't speak French. You write and pass French. When they ask you bonjour, you don't know. You understand? That kind of education doesn't help us. Let's delimit the pressure on the student. Take one thing, study it. That's where you want to go.
It has been a very wonderful time with this great man. In fact, I don't always know, but I wish I could have spoken on lines or taken sides to even speak for the NDC. But I can't because I don't know what they are doing.
As the host, you can't
I don't even know what they are doing.
Yes.
But I am hoping that the next Saturday we would get them. Actually, the notification served was very, it was so short. But it's great that we have one of them join us, which is the New Patriotic Party joining us. But I'm hoping that next week we'll be able to get the NDC, Democratic Party, to join us too. In fact, I'm sure that next week we'll be discussing about the factories and the dams the President of the Republic of Ghana is enrolling or is not doing. I don't know which is which. Whether he's doing, he's not doing, it's heaven that knows, and the two parties that can tell us very, very well. You see, the program was just centered on MPP, giving credit to the MPP, and that of the NDC was left out. And I'm hoping that next week we'll get people to come and tell this man, we'll get another wise man just like him, so that they can rock the whole show up for us. In fact, it's great to have you guys watching us, and you know, we are just growing, and we are hoping that in the near future we'll be able to hit there. We'll be able to be more than City TV, Joy News, and what have you. And we'll present things that are factual, things that are very, very important. But before we draw curtains on this whole program, I would like to reiterate on these three things that are very, very key to the student community here, even in Ghana at large. The first thing is the student loan. In fact, it is affecting a lot of people, and people might have to defer their courses. They are suffered in time on inability to pay their school fees. So those who are in authority, those who are supposed to look at this I'm sure you also follow up the matter, and when maths go up, those in charge would look at it critically. And also, the issue of lightning in our campus is very bad. Anyone at all can come and take a careless look at the lighting system of UDS Navrongo campus. Is very, very bad. And I learned when we pay our light bill and what have you, some token or what is sent to those effects. In fact, we need to also enjoy some of these things. And the issue of the roads network, the regional minister, Madam Honorable Paulina, should also help us in getting the roads fixed. And the municipal chief, my very own master, Mr. Williams, I'm sure you are putting up your boots together to get to side and let's lift the image of our institution high. And I've seen that they are working on some of the projects. Please push those in charge of finishing up these projects, finish it up. They should look at some of those things, because anything affecting the university community would affect the Navrongo municipality at large. And when the school community is growing, businesses are going to grow. A lot of things are going to grow. People are even taking votes transfers to come down here and vote. Who knows? They might vote for your party. So I'm very grateful to have you said.
Okay.
I just want you to your closing remarks.
Yeah, my closing remark. Thank you very much for the opportunity. But my closing remark: one, you said. MPP has monopolized the show. I don't think that is the case. What I know is that our cousins, that's the NDC, any serious political party will take political activities seriously. And so I don't see them as a serious political party. That's one thing I see. And so because they are not serious, they should just keep relaxing and then watch the magnanimous Nanado see how best he can transform Ghana. Apart from them not being a serious political party,
no, they are serious. On the most serious note, I know the NDC is very, very serious.
I don't see the seriousness in them. Perhaps they are serious elsewhere, but in Navrongo here, I don't. That is an opinion. It's an opinion. Yeah. The other thing is that you describe them as a democratic party, national democratic. What? I don't see how democratic they are. It was a congress they went, and still they are still glued to their congress. Is that not so? National Democratic Congress. They went for a congress, and even that congress itself was not democratic. You can remember you remember how Atamis was elected as the flag bearer for the first time. The Sweet Road Declaration.
We won't.
One man show. I am going. This is the next person. That was how it was done. How democratic is that?
We won't dwell so much on that.
But I want listeners to, or those who are viewing this, to know that yes, NDC is not a serious party, and you can't invest your future in a group of people who don't mean well. we, the New Patriotic Party, we have come within 3 years. People want to compare 3 years to 8 years. And even with the 3 years, our records are far, far, far ahead in terms of development. That is why His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic, said, "Dear West, or our West, is better than their West." And the records are there to show.
Their West is better.
Our West is better than their West.
Okay, now it's clear.
Yes, when they were there, the Ghanaian currency, it was the worst performing currency in the world. I believe in Bloomberg report, you have seen it. The best performing currency in the world now is what? Ghanaian currency. Under Jomama West. And the Nana
there is
so
a
I need
technique.
the watchers and the viewers to see that.
There is a technique might be wrong. So
you see, might that is also another conjecture. And so for your mama, you only experience West things.
I'm
then Nanado, you experience what first.
I'm sure next week we would have more time.
That is they now become serious. But I am telling you, as a party, I don't see seriousness in them. I'm only praying that they will come. When they become, we will see. And that will even be after we have told them to be serious.
Okay. So after they are going to be told, I'm sure they are. I'm very, very sure about that. They mean business. The NDC mean business. If not, they wouldn't have been fighting this voters register and what have you. To make sure a fruitless exercise. You see, to make sure that we have a credible election.
Just 1 minute, Mr. Host. Just 1 minute, Mr. Host. You see,
I mean next week we would dwell more on a lot of very critical.
Whilst we were saying let my vote count, we still have people to represent us at what? The IPAC meetings. While they are saying nobody should go.
Yeah.
So you see the difference.
In fact, it's great having you people tonight, and it's a very big pleasure. We are so honored that a whole director of communication had time this evening to join us on Lumia TV. In fact, we shall get there one day. I'm sure that one day, when he comes to our studio, he will see improvement. I'm sure by next week, when he comes back here, he will see a massive improvement.
That's okay.
We are so grateful for the time given us. God bless you so much.
Amen. And bless you too.
Amen.